I just took down all the books from my bookshelf. So there's this thing going around on BookTube where people show off their physical TBRs, and as you can see, my entire desk right now, at least here and back, is filled with book piles all over the side of my book. I've gotten all of this. I've gotten the majority of this in these past 3 months. Fret not, most of these are from little free libraries and book swaps and $2 and under, most of them. So don't worry, I didn't go spending like $2,000 on books. Absolutely not. Let's see what all we have, shall we? Also, I may or may not even finish a whole lot of these. I am team DNF over here. Starting with Stephen King's The Green Mile, I have the entire series. I ended up getting part 5 from a free little library, and then I was like, well, now I need to get the rest of them. So I went to Half Price Books, and lo and behold, the rest of them were there. I heard this is a really loved series by him. My love for Stephen King, or my like for Stephen King, has gone like this. I like some classics by him, but so far I've also just been like, I don't know. But I have quite a few of him and his works in my pile right now. Actually, you know what I should have started off with? The series I'm currently getting through and some library books that I have. Kind of borrow these for work and to train my brain against techno-ableism and mismatch, how inclusion shapes design. This is more for accessibility for people who are blind, visually impaired, with low vision, deafblind. I saw these recommendations from a colleague that was on an accessibility panel that I was on, and we were going over, you know, references and whatever that we like to use and share with people, and this person works with accessibility for blind people, and she recommended these two, so I picked these up, and I should probably read them pretty soon. This is a series I'm currently trying to work on, The Fifth Wave, and it's funny that I mention this because I literally just posted on Patreon yesterday about how I'm not, or probably not, going to finish The Fifth Wave, and yet I don't know, by the time I got to page 100, I'm like, maybe I could. So at the very least, I'm going to try to finish this. I liked the movie okay. Granted, I watched that when I was a teenager, 15 years ago. But for some reason, I just couldn't get into the book. You can read more about that on Patreon. But I found these at, like, Goodwill. I found this at Thrift World, but I saw this one, and then, like, a couple days later, I found this. So I was like, let me get them. And then I got the last one at the library. So my plan for the remainder of March was to get through the Fifth Wave series. I love the idea of it. I just don't like the execution of it. Kind of. Sort of. Mostly. Okay, that's out of the way. Stephen King Doohickey. Is this attached to any series, or is this a standalone? I think this is a standalone. My Sister's Keeper. I've seen snippets of the movie. I know it's a very well-loved movie and incredibly sad. I've never read the book, so I saw this. Why not grab it? Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. She's like a classic author, so I know I want to try to dip my toes into some of her stuff. I kind of tend to not really get into classic authors because the language back then, the English language, was more than my brain and my brain fog can handle. But we'll see. The Mortal Instruments. I have book 1, book 2, and then I decided to get book 6 because it was $2 at half price. I liked Shadowhunters the movie. I liked Shadowhunters the show. It took me a minute to get into it, and I never finished the last season because I found out what they did, and I knew it was going to make me mad, so I just stopped where I was. I have dabbled into the first book of the series like a long time ago, but it was during an era where I just couldn't focus on any book at all, so I took that back eventually and never touched it again. But now, if I stay, I know there's a movie. I don't think I've seen it. Saw this at a little free library and thought, why not? I think this was also the day that I got hit in the chin by a newspaper door, which was what the little free library was. those newspaper things, and it's been so long since I've gotten a newspaper, 15 something years, and I kind of forgot about that, and yeah, so then I got mad and said, you know what, I'm taking this as payment. This book is my payment for that. Girl Stolen. This wasn't really gonna be up my alley. I got this at Book Swap at Silent Book Club, but it said, if you're blind, how can you escape your kidnappers? Part of my job is, you know, reading, watching things with disabled representation, so I don't know, I'm curious. But it's very likely that it will probably be going back to Book Swap. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. My friend, who is the founder of the Omaha chapter of Silent Book Club, when I picked this up, she screamed at me. She's like, I was so hoping you were gonna get this, because this would be perfect for you. I love horror. I love horror movies. I don't really dabble in horror books all that much for some reason, but I'm trying to get into that more, and I don't know, this seems lovely. I love the cover art. I hate the Target sticker on it. One Day in December. This is gonna be a December read, so I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed until then. Indignation? Honestly, I'm probably gonna put this in a little free library. Paper Towns by John Green. I have a few other John Green books. The Green brothers helped me with my start in my career. There is going to be a video at some point dedicated to reading all the John Green that I have. So I have Paper Towns and Fault in Our Stars. I got a couple things, we'll get through them, but Love and Gelato, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I liked the cover, and it was 99 cents. You Lucky Dog. I thought the cover was really cute. It's got little puppies on it. Come on, it's cute. I want a cat version of this. I don't even know exactly what this book is about. It's a romance. They all tend to be the same. Last Days by Adam Neville. According to something that I read back here, he's supposed to be like the British version of Stephen King. 99 cents at Goodwill. Again, I'm trying to get into more horror. There are other horror writers than Stephen King out there. For some reason, my brain keeps gravitating towards King, and I understand why everybody recommends him when you're trying to get into horror for the very first time, at least in terms of books. But for the love of God, Timmy, there's more out there than just Stephen King, and that's what I'm trying to tell myself. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I've actually read this a long time ago in Kindle. I think actually I more so skimmed it for the spicy scenes, but I saw this and I really loved the spicy scenes in this, at least back then. So now I'm gonna actually read this in full and give it a go. I know there's a movie. Did I watch the movie? I think I did, but it's been so long I don't remember what it's like. I remember I didn't like the guy who played Josh. I don't think he was a good fit. Anyway, that's The Hating Game. Because if you remember from previous videos, there was a time where I simply read spicy TikTok books, but only really read the spice. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Funny enough, I saw this at Target, almost got it because of a buy one, get one free sale or whatever. Decided to save my money because books are expensive. This is $17 retail, although it's cheaper at Target because Target does something, I don't know. North Carolina, I was raised there. I don't live there anymore. I have heard good things about Emily Henry. So then I also checked it out from the library, and then I saw this at Book Swap and I just grabbed it. So now I didn't have to like feel stressed about reading it on time. But I should probably read this soon because the two of the founders of Book Club really want to read this, so I should hurry up and read this and lend it to them. It seems like a summer read, so yeah, it's taking place during the summer, so Jessica, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait. Another Emily Henry, People We Meet on Vacation. A summer read. I can go to the park. I can go to Jean Leahy Mall downtown, sit by the water, watch the little ducks, and just read that there. These two I picked up at Silent Book Club. What is the series called? I don't know what the series is called, but Kingdom of the Wicked, this is the first one I believe. Kingdom of the Curse, and then there's a third one, I think. I don't know, seemed cool. Okay, so it's like fantasy something. Is it like dark romance? I have no idea. The cover looks like it would be a dark romance that you see from TikTok. I don't know, they look cool. These were a gem of a find. This is the Inheritance Games series. Book Club had the whole entire series. Unfortunately, this one's the paperback, but let me tell you something. The last one, is this the last one? No, this is the second one. 4 copies were put on the Book Swap shelf, or stage. 4. So this is an incredibly popular book club and to put into a swap. So I decided to grab all of them. For the record, the founders of this chapter tell you to take as many books as you want because whatever gets left behind gets donated anyways. So I took 10 books home that night and I donated half that before I got these. That was my swap. I really like the art on here. I think it's really pretty. So that's gonna be fun to get through. The Exorcist, a classic. I've never read the book. I've seen the movie. I've seen the sequel that recently came out. This is the 40th anniversary edition. I got this for super cheap. $8 at the local used bookstore. If It Bleeds by Stephen King. This is the hardcover. I also have the paperback. I found it for 99 cents like a week later at Goodwill. So I'm gonna be reading from that. So I'll probably put the paperback in Book Swap eventually after I'm done reading it, and then have this to like put on shelves. I love this cover. It looks like you. It looks like you. You don't care. Stephen King, The Institute. I'm so upset though because when we put the book in the bag, it ripped the cover. For $8, it's not that big of a deal, but Nicholas Sparks' Safe Haven and A Walk to Remember. I love these movies and I have a couple of Nicholas Sparks books that I've just gotten from Goodwill. I kind of want to do like a video where I read Nicholas Sparks and then just talk about it. In fact, on Patreon there is a poll. Nicholas Sparks books for the month of April or the ACOTAR series, which I have on Kindle, so you won't see it here. ACOTAR is winning. I'm not surprised. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Read this a long time ago when I was like a kid, a teenager. Saw the movie, liked it. Saw this at Goodwill and thought I'd pick it up, give it a read over once more, and then I'll send it off to a little free library. 5 Feet Apart. Saw the commercials, the movie trailers. Vengeance Road. Really, I just really liked the cover, so I grabbed it off the book swap table. In 5 years. Heard good things about this. The Hunger Games series. 2 hardcovers that I found at Goodwill, and then I have yet to find the hardcover, but I did find a beat up paperback for the Hunger Games, but I am on the hunt to find a physical copy. However, I'm not going to start this until I get the Ballad of Songbirds or whatever. I'm in line at the library, so I'll read that first and then I'll go back and reread these. I know I read Hunger Games. I don't remember if I've read the books, the remaining books. I've seen the movies and liked them. Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is so funny. I found this in a little free library like minutes after I almost bought this from a bookstore. Full price, brand new. Cats and Coffee. Nicholas Sparks' The Guardian. Signed copy of The Fault in Our Stars. I also had a paperback at one point. Put it in a little free library because now I have this. And then this big chunker that is Under the Dome by Stephen King with questionable stains that I've taped over and covered. Gone Girl. Heard good things about that. I've seen snippets of the movie. The Husband's Secret. Book Swap. I like the cover. Cartographers. I like the cover. Got it from Book Swap. Now to get through this entire thing on my bed. I just wondered how I'm going to take a thumbnail of this later. I Am Malala. Trying to get more nonfiction back in my belt. When I did start to get back into my reading era, I just went straight to nonfiction, like North Korean nonfiction mostly, but now I'm trying to dabble back into that. Dear John and Everything. This has a disabled character in this, right? Chronic illness character, so that's gonna be somewhere on my list definitely to do a write-up on. I remember seeing Dear John the movie. I think I liked it. I like Amanda and Channing, that's his name. Battle Royale. I've read this so many times, I don't know what to tell you, but it's been well over a decade since the last time I've read it, so this has to come back into my life. And I managed to find a used copy of the original cover because I don't know where it's hiding in North Carolina somewhere. The paperback of If It Bleeds. Deaf Like Me. I've read this before. I bought it and then I gave it away, but it's been a very long time and I want to read this again to refresh my memory and do a write-up on it because it's also deaf. The Orphan's Tale. Disgusting bilingualism in deaf children. This is basically a textbook type of deal, a lot of research, and a friend of mine who passed away last year from cancer did a lot of research on this, wrote this up with other people, and he gave this to me, and so that's definitely on my list. Animal Farm. I talked about that recently in a video. Handmaid's Tale. I've read this before on Kindle years ago. I think it was more like being skimmed through, so I'm gonna read this in full now this time. Nicholas Sparks, The Last Song. Such a fun age. I like the cover. It was 99 cents at Goodwill. I like the cover. Also, I need to be more diverse in my fiction reading as well. Because of Miss Bridgerton, a Bridgerton prequel, I have not seen the show, and typically I'm not into like this time period in fiction, but I saw it at a little free library, and since it's a prequel, this is probably where to start, because it's a prequel. Rikki, of course. George Orwell, 1984. Classic, read in high school. I think I liked it, but because we had to read it for school, I hated it. So I liked the general premise of it, and generally liked the idea and whatever. I mean, not that I'd want it to happen in real life, but I liked the idea of the book. It was interesting. But because it was a school project, and being the deaf kid in the middle of hearing people, no. Number the Stars. This was a school read, and I saw this and I was like, it's been a very long time. I'd like to read that. And then I'll put it in a little free library. Archer's Voice. I know so many people like this book. And I also know that there's a girl, the main girl in this knows sign language because her dad's deaf, and Archer is nonverbal. So we shall see how that goes. Not really disabled representation or deaf representation, but I didn't actually get it because of that. I didn't know that was in there. I just know a lot of people like that. Birthday by Koji Suzuki. I bought this in Toronto. There's a horror themed bookstore in Toronto, and it's been a year exactly since I've been to Toronto for the first time in like 5 years since I had went before then. And a friend took me to a horror-themed bookstore as a surprise, and I knew I had to get something. I mean, do I really need it? No, but it's a nice memory, and I miss that store. Middlesex. I've given this a try. I feel like the Green Brothers talked about this. I think it was John. And I tried giving it a chance a long time ago. I don't think I ever finished it. Probably was during the time where I just wasn't into reading as much. I grew up reading, but like, I don't know. Can you stop trying to make me indecent on camera? There's a website for that, but it's not this one. If I'm ever going to join that website and do that, it's going to be on my own terms. Not you, who I have to hold, because you won't stop screaming. Dear Leader, this is North Korean nonfiction about a guy was part of the regime, I think. He was a soldier, and he got out of that, and then he wanted to write about it, so I thought that was interesting. For 99 cents, that's very interesting. But I was mostly reading about people who escaped, and not necessarily people who were a soldier in that, and then also escaped. Care Work, Dreaming Disability Justice. I bought this full price at a local bookstore in Dundee, and then I found it used, like, recently. But that's okay. Support small businesses. They were both small businesses, but Where the Crawdads Sing. I liked the movie a lot, and I want to read a book. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. 1,000 Words, a writer's guide to staying creative, focused, and productive all year round. This was a free thing if you bought like $30 worth of books. An art copy of The Rumor you got at the bookstore here. You got to have a free art copy from a shelf if you bought anything. The Help. I've never really seen the movie and I've never read the book. There are so many copies of this at Goodwill's. Divergent. I've seen the movie. I think I've seen the second movie. I haven't seen the third, but I know what happens. I've never read the books. And I saw this at Book Swap. Grabbed it. Frankenstein. Pick up a classic. Why not? The Other Bowling Girl. The woman that I was talking to at my very first Book Swap had this, and then I eventually just grabbed it from the table. Jodi Picoult, Harvesting the Heart, talked about this in a past video. Icebreaker, I was shocked to find this in a little free library. An Abundance of Catherines by John Green, and The Thief by Fuminori Nakamura. Got this at a Toronto bookstore as well. Longborn, I think I opened this in a blind date unboxing. John Green, Looking for Alaska. Deep Freeze. The Lovely Bones. I've seen parts of the movie. I might have seen all of it. I don't remember. I know it's sad. You don't have to tell me. I know what happens. I know it's Silent Child. This is really cool because the beginning, the first page of each chapter is inverted. So it's all black background with white text. I thought that was really cool. The Queen's Gambit. Loved the TV show. Didn't know there was a book. Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I've read this before, but it's been a very, very long time, so brush up. Holiday Romance. Gonna read this in December. No One Knows Us Here. Stephen King, Dr. Sleep, which if I recall is the sequel to The Shining, which I've read half of on Kindle, so I'm gonna have to start over on The Shining before I can get to this. Somehow got lucky with Tessa Bailey at Goodwill and found 2 in a series, Chase Me and Need Me. I don't know which one comes first. Another Emily Henry, Beach Read. Gonna read this in the summer. 2 books by a local Omaha native here in Omaha. Love Wager and Better Than the Movies by Lynn Pater. Did I say her name even? I don't know, but I figured if I live in Omaha now, I want to know about some authors here, and I don't know which book it is, but one of the books talks about a coffee shop that I go to all the time. And I actually, in one of my novels, use that same coffee shop as inspiration. And then last but not least, so funny that this is last, True Biz by my friend Sarah Novick. I've attempted to read it on Kindle and I couldn't get into it because of the lack of quotation marks around the signing conversation, or any conversation for that matter. I think even in English, so it kind of keeps making me disconnect from the book. But I thought maybe if I get it in a hard copy, I will pay attention to it better. It probably won't happen. I don't know. But I at least want to get a physical copy because I want to support my deaf friends. That's it. There's a whole other TBR that's Kindle. I don't even know how many books that is. I will count them eventually and put a number here. I've stopped putting new holds at the library. I have 13 on the list right now. I'm getting through what I have currently, and then I told myself don't try to get any more from the library right now. At least try to get through some stuff here before you do that. But if anything does become available, then I will go get it and read it. Especially like the Hunger Games series, the prequel, if that's available now. So right now for April, try to get through ACOTAR, 3,000 pages of that series. And then the next month over, try to get into some Nicholas Sparks or something. We'll see how it goes. You know, I am more of a mood reader than anything. Hope you enjoyed that. So how many books do you have? If you would like to be a part of my little book club on Patreon, where I write reviews on books that I probably won't make specific reviews for here on this channel, consider becoming a member of my Patreon. I will have that link down below. Subscribe if you have not yet. I have a goal of 500 now, and I would love to have you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this incredibly long video. My throat hurts, and I'll see you later. Bye.